The crypto world has been buzzing with one of the most exciting headlines we've seen in years. Mastercard, one of the biggest payment giants on the planet, is making moves that could directly involve XRP. Imagine this for a second. You walk into your favorite coffee shop, you order your drink, you pull out your card, tap it, and not only do you pay instantly and seamlessly, but you also earn back 4% in XRP instantly, right there, added to your balance. 4%. Every transaction stacking XRP. That's the idea sparking debates everywhere right now. The concept of a Mastercard powered by Ripple's technology, rewarding users with XRP cashback, could change the game entirely. But the real question is this. Is this the true catalyst that finally brings XRP into mainstream adoption? Or is it just another flashy gimmick that fades away? That's what we're going to break down today. And trust me, by the end of this discussion, you'll see why people are saying this could be one of the biggest turning points we've ever seen in crypto. Now, before we jump into the details, let's zoom out for a moment and really understand why this story is so huge. Because this isn't some random startup hyping up a crypto debit card. We're talking about Mastercard. This company is not just big, it's colossal. Mastercard processes more than $2.5 trillion in transactions every single quarter. Think about that. That's trillions of dollars flowing through their network every 3 months. Their brand is everywhere. If you've ever had a credit card, debit card, or prepaid card, odds are Mastercard has been in your wallet at some point in your life. They have the reach. They have the trust. They have the infrastructure to roll out new technologies into the daily lives of billions of people. When Mastercard even whispers the word crypto, the financial world pays attention. And when that crypto is XRP, well, the implications are explosive. So let's talk about this 4% cashback in XRP. Why does it matter? Why is everyone so hyped? Let's break it down in simple terms. With a normal cashback card, maybe you get 1% on everything, or 2% if you're lucky, sometimes 3% in certain categories like dining or travel. But it's usually capped. And when you get that cashback, it's just fiat. It's a flat number. $10 is $10. Nothing more, nothing less. But now picture this in the world of XRP. Every single time you swipe your Mastercard, every time you tap it to buy groceries, every time you use it for gas, bills, vacations, or even that daily coffee, you're earning XRP, not dollars, not boring points you'll never redeem. You're stacking a digital asset. And here's the kicker. Unlike fiat cashback that just sits there, XRP has the potential to appreciate over time. That means your cashback rewards are not static. They could grow. They could multiply in value if XRP itself rises. Imagine turning a simple $5 coffee purchase into XRP rewards that, years from now, are worth $20, $50, maybe even $100. Suddenly, everyday spending becomes a direct path into investment. And that's why this model has people so excited. It transforms consumption into accumulation. Now let's talk mechanics. How would this even work behind the scenes? Because let's face it, Mastercard is a traditional finance giant. XRP is blockchain. They're not the same animal. But here's the brilliance. When you make a purchase with your Mastercard, the transaction goes through their global rails as usual. The difference comes in the reward system. Instead of saying, okay, here's your 2% cashback in fiat, the program could automatically take a portion of that, convert it into XRP, and deposit it into your account. This could be facilitated by partnerships with exchanges, custodians, or even Ripple directly. The conversion happens in real time. For the user, it's seamless. You tap, you pay, you earn XRP. You don't need to buy it manually. You don't need to move funds to an exchange. You don't need to understand blockchain wallets if you don't want to. It just shows up and it's yours. That kind of user experience is critical for mainstream adoption because it eliminates the learning curve that has scared so many people away from crypto. Of course, some people are asking, okay, but how do I actually get one of these cards? And that's a fair question. Because right now, traditional banks already make credit card applications feel like pulling teeth. You've got to fill out forms, submit IDs, go through credit checks, and wait. And in the crypto space, it can be even more complex because of regulations. The good news is that Mastercard knows adoption depends on simplicity. If they go ahead with this, it'll likely be as easy as opening an app, hitting apply, uploading your ID, and within minutes, you've got a virtual card ready on your phone. Later, they'll ship you a physical card. For most users, it'll feel no different than signing up for a normal bank product. Yes, there will be KYC checks. Yes, they'll need your documents. But for anyone who's ever used an exchange, this will feel familiar. And if the rollout is truly global, then we could see millions of people onboarded into XRP without ever visiting a crypto exchange themselves. That's mass adoption. Now here's where the regulatory angle comes in. Because let's be real. Ripple's ongoing battle with the SEC in the United States has been one of the biggest clouds hanging over XRP for years. While other jurisdictions like Europe, Asia, and Latin America have leaned more crypto-friendly, the US has been slow, cautious, and often hostile. So here's what could happen. Mastercard could choose to launch this XRP Cashback card first in friendlier markets. Europe, for example, has MyCA, the Markets in Crypto Assets framework, which provides regulatory clarity. Places like Singapore, Japan, and certain Latin American countries are also much more open to crypto adoption. This means the US might actually be last in line. And ironically, that could end up fueling even more hype. Imagine people in Europe and Asia showing off their XRP Mastercards, earning 4% cashback, while Americans are locked out. That scarcity, that exclusivity, could create enormous pressure on US regulators to finally loosen their grip. And once the US joins the party, adoption could explode even further. But beyond regulations and rollout, let's talk about consumer psychology. Because this is where things get really powerful. People love rewards, cashback, loyalty points, miles, you name it. Consumers have been conditioned for decades to chase points, chase perks, chase rewards. It makes spending feel like a game. Now imagine replacing all those stale, boring airline miles and fiat cashback credits with XRP. Suddenly, every single purchase becomes a gateway into the crypto world. Someone might start off indifferent, just using the card because they like the 4% rewards. But before long, they're checking the XRP price daily. They're learning about Ripple. They're telling their friends how their coffee purchase turned into crypto. And here's the magic. Mass adoption rarely comes from people reading white papers or studying financial systems. It comes from small, everyday experiences, from subtle changes in behavior. This is exactly how mainstream adoption happens. Quietly, naturally, through rewards that people barely even think about. It's not academic, it's emotional. And emotional adoption is unstoppable. Now let's balance the hype with some realism. Because we've got to ask the tough question. Is this really a revolution? Or is it just a clever marketing gimmick? On the hype side, Mastercard is a titan. Their name alone adds legitimacy. A 4% XRP cashback card would grab headlines across the world. YouTube influencers would talk about it. TikTok would be full of people showing their cards. XRP holders would see this as long-awaited validation. But here's the reality check. Credit card programs often come with fine print. Cashback may have limits. Maybe the 4% only applies to certain categories like travel or dining. Maybe there's a cap of $500 in rewards per year. Maybe there are fees. Maybe it's not as simple as 4% on everything. And if that's the case, we need to be honest about it. Because hype without substance can backfire. But here's where it gets interesting. Even if the rewards are limited, even if the execution isn't perfect, the larger message still matters. Because this isn't just about cashback. This is about credibility. Mastercard lending its brand to XRP, even indirectly, signals to the world that XRP is not a joke. It's not just a speculative coin. It's a legitimate currency with utility. This stamp of legitimacy could have a ripple effect across the financial world. Banks on the sidelines might reconsider. Regulators might take a softer stance. And consumers who never trusted crypto before might finally be willing to give it a shot. So even if the reward structure isn't flawless, the credibility boost alone could be the true catalyst. Now, let's talk scalability, because this is where XRP has a unique edge. Unlike Bitcoin, which is slow and expensive, or Ethereum, which often struggles with congestion, XRP was built for speed and cost efficiency. We're talking about settlement in 3 to 5 seconds. We're talking about fees that are fractions of a cent. So if millions of people suddenly start earning XRP rewards and using it, the network can handle it. No bottlenecks, no insane fees, no breakdowns. This is exactly the kind of use case Ripple has been preparing for. Their vision has always been about integrating into global financial rails. And with Mastercard's network of billions of users, the scale is finally here. Now picture the ripple effect in daily life. Someone pays for lunch with their XRP Mastercard, earns cashback, and decides to hold it. Over weeks and months, they build up a balance. Maybe eventually, they use that XRP to send money abroad instantly, skipping high fees. Maybe they swap it for another crypto. Maybe they cash it out when the price rises. What started as a simple cashback reward turns into full exposure to the crypto ecosystem. And that's how adoption spreads. Not from speculation, but from utility, from small, everyday use cases that snowball into life-changing financial behavior. Now let's address the speculation side, because I know XRP holders are asking the million-dollar question. Could this push XRP to $30? Right now, XRP sits far below that mark. But think about it logically. A reward system like this requires actual XRP purchases to fund the cashback. That means Mastercard or its partners would need to buy XRP regularly on the open market. That's direct, ongoing buying pressure. Add in the renewed attention, the hype, the regulatory clarity that may follow, and you suddenly have the ingredients for a major rally. Now, will it hit $30 overnight? Number that's unrealistic. But could it serve as the narrative catalyst that gets people believing again? Absolutely. And belief drives momentum. Momentum drives adoption. Adoption drives price. That's how cycles work. And this could be the spark that lights the fire. Of course, we can't ignore the challenges. Some people will dismiss this outright. They'll say 4% isn't life-changing. They'll say XRP rewards only matter if XRP goes up in value. They'll say it's just another credit card perk in disguise. And they're not wrong to question it. But here's the counterpoint. Even if skeptics don't buy in, the visibility alone has value. The conversations alone drive curiosity. Every headline, every tweet, every video about this card puts XRP in front of millions of new eyes. And in crypto, attention is everything. The spotlight itself has power. So where does this leave us? Let's bring it home. The idea of a Mastercard offering 4% XRP cashback is more than just a financial product. It's a symbol, a bridge between the old world of finance and the new world of digital assets. It's Mastercard saying, crypto is here, and we're not ignoring it. It's Ripple showing that their mission of faster, cheaper, borderless payments is inching closer to reality. And most importantly, it's everyday people having a chance to interact with XRP, not as traders or speculators, but as consumers. That's where the true revolution begins. Not in exchanges, not in price charts, but in daily life. Will this be the ultimate catalyst that sends XRP to new heights? Or will it be another flashy experiment that fades into obscurity? Time will tell. But one thing is certain. The conversation has begun. The wheels are in motion, and the financial world will never look the same again. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or just crypto-curious, you can't deny that the thought of tapping your card, earning XRP, and being part of the future of money is one of the most exciting possibilities in finance today. And if history has shown us anything, it's that when traditional finance and crypto begin to blur, disruption is never far behind. So keep your eyes on Mastercard, keep your eyes on Ripple, and above all, keep your eyes on XRP. Because whether this card is a gimmick or a game changer, it's putting XRP back in the spotlight at a critical moment. And in the world of crypto, attention is often the very thing that sparks the next big wave. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.